Okay.
All right. More than 100 million cases are filed each year by the state trial courts, and an additional over 400,000 cases are filed by the federal courts. That comes from judgefacts.com. Today, I'd like you to understand how the criminal justice system filters through its caseloads and its arrests. I learned this in my intro to the criminal justice system class taught by Officer Chance Weidman here at Hardin-Simmons. Today, I'll tell you about the criminal justice system and how it is able to filter through these cases and preserve the right to a speedy trial. All right, so say out of 1,000 serious crimes, so that would exclude things like Class C misdemeanors, which would be like traffic tickets and public intoxication. So things that are above that, say you had 1,000 of those crimes. This comes from Officer Weidman's lecture. Say you had 1,000 of those crimes, only 600 of them will even be reported to law enforcement. The other 400 will not be reported either because the actor is, like someone you know or someone you're close to, or in the case that, say, a drug dealer stabs another drug dealer, the drug dealer got stabbed isn't going to go to the police and tell them what happened. Okay, so out of that 600 that are reported, only 346 are solved. And this isn't because of lack of police work, it's because of multiple factors, including witnesses refusing to testify, people refusing to press charges, and refusing to cooperate with the investigations. All right, so moving to the number of people arrested and charged. Out of that 346 that you know who did it, only 100 people are able to be charged. 58 of them will be placed on bail, meaning that they will not be held in jail until their time of trial. They'll be out in the public until then. The other 42, however, are held, and this can be due to factors including repeat offenders, bond jumping, things like that. So now we're moving on to the courts. This information comes from Criminal Justice in America 8th edition textbook. So out of that 69 that are prosecuted, 23 of them will be dismissed by the courts or by the prosecution themselves. This being because of multiple factors, not enough evidence, too much of a risk that if they prosecute them for this crime or attempt to and they're not successful, then they will not be able to prosecute them again for it and they will get away with it. So oftentimes they're dismissed or pushed so that way the investigation can further itself and you can make an additional arrest and move forward. All right, so you have 69 that are actually prosecuted. 4 of them go through the complete trials. Yep, okay. 4 of them will go through complete jury trials, and of that 69, 65 of them will take guilty plea outs. So meaning that the state has so much evidence and the defense has nothing. The state has so much evidence and knows that they've done it, and the defendant knows that, hey, I've done this crime and you've got me. So they choose to take the plea out in exchange for reduced charges or reduced sentence time or time served. And out of that total 69, and that usually comes through the trial process, there's usually one person that is innocent or acquitted, and they did not do it. All right, and moving to the corrections and attempts to reform. This information comes from scholarlycommons.edu. Of those 68 convictions, 56 of them will be felony convictions, so more serious crimes. These will be often violent. And 12 of them will end up being Class A and B misdemeanors, things like assaults and thefts, high-level thefts. All right, of that 68, 24 of them will be in prison for more than a year, while an additional 24 will only be in jail for less than a year. So although they've committed 68 serious crimes, many of them will not even be in jail for more than a year. Of that 68, 17 of them will also receive probation, and probation isn't parole, so it would mean that they have to serve 0 time and they just have to abide by certain restrictions for certain amounts of times. And the only way to have them violate the probation is to actually catch them doing the act or see them doing it, so it's not likely that they're gonna be really punished in that sense for what they've done. Okay, but out of that 68, roughly 3 to 4 of them, of those defendants, will be moved either to the federal court system for one to testify, as you see in the bigger organized crime trials. They get the little fish to snitch on the big fish, that kind of thing, and then, or they're being moved to the federal courts in exchange because they need to be prosecuted there. Okay, so now you know how the criminal justice system filters through its caseloads and its arrests. Today I shared with you how the system handles crimes and the cases that result from it, and it avoids overloading and preserving the right to a speedy trial. Thank you all for listening. I hope it was informative and entertaining.